On October 14th, 2019, in Harlan Falls, Kentucky, a text message sits unread on a phone that hasn't moved in 11 hours. Her shift ended at 10 p.m. She was supposed to be home by 10:30. Her mother checks the window again. Then again. This is the story of a young woman who walked into an October night and never came back. The mountains close in early out here. The ridgelines surrounding this small eastern Kentucky town block out the last of the daylight well before most people finish dinner. Harlan Falls is home to around 4,200 people who mostly know each other by face, if not always by name. Conley Street runs through the middle of town and has everything a place like this needs. Somewhere to grab coffee, somewhere to do laundry, a bulletin board at the laundromat where people still tape handwritten notes. Lou's Diner anchors the end of the block and always smells of burnt coffee and pine sol. Winter or summer, rain or shine. People here notice things. They notice when a familiar car isn't parked where it should be. They notice when someone hasn't been seen in a few days. That kind of attention is just part of living somewhere small. Kelly Dawyer had grown up inside all of that. 24 years old, dark-eyed, with a laugh her brother once described as too loud for indoors. She rented a small 2-room apartment upstairs in her Aunt Deb's house on Ridgemore Lane. The window faced the mountain. The radiator clanked every night once the cold came in. There was still a corkboard above her desk covered in old high school photos she kept meaning to update. She just never quite got around to it. Kelly worked the evening shift at Mercer Regional Medical Center, about 20 minutes east on Route 9. She was a patient care technician, which is the kind of job that sounds simple until you spend a day doing it. Patients liked her. She had a way of being calm with people without being distant, present without being hovering. Her coworkers noticed it. 2 years before she went missing, Kelly had signed up for an LPN program at the local community college. She wanted to become a licensed nurse. She had the drive for it and the patience for it, and she had already started picturing what that life would look like. But then her father's health got difficult. Money got tight the way it does, and the program got quietly set aside. She told herself it was temporary. She meant it. On her refrigerator, she kept a handwritten list of nursing schools within driving distance, ranked by tuition cost. Eastern Kentucky University was circled in red pen at the top. To make ends meet, she also cleaned houses on weekends. 3 regular clients, cash only. Money she kept in a coffee can under the bathroom sink. She was saving up to replace the car she drove, a 2007 Chevy Cobalt with a cracked dashboard and one missing hubcap that technically belonged to her mother, Carol. It started fine in summer. October was another story. Carol Dawyer lived just 4 streets over on Pembroke Road. 53 years old, broad-shouldered, with the same dark eyes as her daughter. When something was worrying her, she would rub her thumbs slowly across her knuckles without noticing she was doing it. She and Kelly talked almost every day. Not long conversations, just the small, steady check-ins that hold a family together across a few streets and a shared life. You eat? Yeah, Ma, I ate. That kind of thing. Kelly's younger brother Marcus was 21 that October. He had recently started a warehouse job outside of town and was finding his footing as a young adult in a place where footing wasn't always easy to find. He kept a photo of him and Kelly as his phone's lock screen. She was mid-laugh at a summer cookout, eyes half closed, completely at ease. It was exactly her. October 14th began the way most of Kelly's Mondays did. She woke up around noon, which made perfect sense for someone working evenings. She made coffee, scrolled her phone, texted Marcus about Thanksgiving plans. Early afternoon, she called Carol to let her know she was borrowing the Cobalt. Everything was completely ordinary. She stopped at the store on Conley Street just before 3 p.m. and picked up a few things. Shampoo, a bottle of Gatorade. The teenager working the register that day remembered her coming in. She seemed tired, he said, but relaxed. Regular end-of-shift tired. Nothing more than that. Her shift at Mercer Regional ran from 3 in the afternoon until 10 at night. Coworkers later described that Monday as busy but unremarkable. A difficult patient on one of the floors. The usual slowdown toward the end of the evening. Nothing stood out. Nothing felt different. At 9:52 p.m., Kelly clocked out and sent her mother a text. "Leaving now. Love you." A coworker named Priya was still inside the lobby and watched through the window as Kelly crossed the parking lot toward the east end where the Cobalt was parked. It was just a Monday night. Just a woman walking to her car after a long shift. Priya turned away and went back to what she was doing. Route 9 between the hospital and Harlan Falls is the kind of road that feels longer at night than it does in daylight. 2 lanes. Some stretches without much guardrail. Hillside rising on one side and a drop on the other. On a quiet night, the drive home was about 20 minutes. Kelly never arrived. The Cobalt was found the next morning by someone driving past. It was parked at a pull-off on Route 9, about 6 miles from the hospital. Not wrecked. Not sitting at an odd angle. Parked carefully, as if someone had pulled over with a plan. Her phone was in the cup holder. Her jacket was folded on the passenger seat. The doors were locked. Carol had already started calling before midnight. By 1 in the morning, she was on the phone with the police. The first 2 days moved in that terrible way where everything feels urgent and nothing feels fast enough. Officers opened a missing persons case. By Tuesday morning, more than 60 volunteers had gathered in the parking lot of Grace Baptist Church and fanned out along Route 9 and into the surrounding tree lines. Cadaver dogs came in by Wednesday. The embankment was searched carefully. Every pull-off, every gap in the guardrail, every section of hillside that could hide something. Nothing came back. One witness offered something worth following. A long-haul trucker named Gary Ells said he had seen a woman standing near the Route 9 shoulder around 10:40 that night. Just standing there, he said. Not flagging anyone down, not appearing distressed, simply standing still in the dark by the side of the road. Investigators spoke with Gary 3 separate times over the following weeks. His account never changed. It also never led anywhere. Local news covered the story for about 5 days before a factory fire in Pikeville took over the front page. Kelly's photo stayed taped to the window at Lou's Diner for nearly 2 years before someone quietly took it down. Nobody knew who. Carol did not slow down. She drove Route 9 so many times she memorized every stretch of it, every gap in the barrier, every gravel pull-off, every place where the trees thinned enough to see through. She kept a thick yellow binder organized by date, full of printed tips and handwritten notes and follow-up questions for investigators. She slept in short stretches. She kept going. Marcus went quiet in a way that worried the people around him. He showed up to work. He came home. He sat with Carol sometimes without either of them saying much. The summer cookouts he used to love, he stopped attending. Grief moves differently through different people, and there is no right way to carry it. Sometimes the people who love each other most end up grieving in completely different directions, alone together. 2 years passed. The case stayed open on paper and mostly still in practice. In March of 2022, a woman named Sandra Pruitt spent her evenings running a Facebook group focused on cold cases across eastern Kentucky. One night, a member posted a photograph from a road trip. Nothing special, just a gas station snapshot taken somewhere in Breathitt County. Background scenery. The kind of photo people post and forget about, but Sandra looked at the background and stopped scrolling. There was a woman standing near a payphone at the edge of the frame. Sandra stared at it for a long time. Then she sent it to Carol. Carol stared at it longer. The woman in the background was holding her left arm slightly away from her body. It was a small and easy thing to miss, but Kelly had broken that arm as a child, and it had never healed at quite the right angle. She had held it that way her whole life without thinking about it. Carol had watched that arm for 24 years. It wasn't proof, but it was something that felt real in a way nothing had in a long time. Investigators traced the gas station to a small town called Clayhole, about 60 miles from Harlan Falls. They began quietly looking into the area through April 2022 and eventually located a woman named Lisa Brandt, who had been renting a small house on the edge of town for roughly 2 years. No verifiable identification. Cash for everything. Kept almost entirely to herself in the specific, deliberate way of someone who needs to stay unseen. GNA results came back in June 2022. Lisa Brandt was Kelly Dawyer. Kelly was alive. The complete picture of what happened on Route 9 that October night is still moving through the courts, and some details remain legally sealed. What is known is that a man named Dennis Coyle, 38 years old, had worked as a patient transporter at Mercer Regional Medical Center before being let go about 6 months before Kelly disappeared. He was arrested in August 2022. Kelly has not spoken publicly about what she experienced, and that choice belongs entirely to her. What Carol said in the one interview she gave to a journalist from Louisville: "She came home." That's what I hold on to. She came home. Carol doesn't drive Route 9 anymore. Marcus updated his phone's lock screen. It's still the same photo, Kelly laughing at that cookout, eyes half closed, but he looks at it differently now. Not like a memorial, like a memory of someone who is still here. A few weeks after Kelly came home, on a quiet Tuesday in early autumn, Carol made soup. Egg noodles, too much black pepper, exactly the way Kelly had always liked it. They sat at the kitchen table for a long time without saying much. The radiator ticked in the corner. Outside the window, the mountain cut off the afternoon light right around 3 p.m. the way it always had. Dennis Coyle's trial has been delayed more than once. Legal justice moves at its own pace, and that pace is rarely the one families need. But Kelly is at that table. And the red circle around Eastern Kentucky University is still on that refrigerator list. If you have ever driven a dark road at night and felt that quiet flicker of awareness that roads like this carry stories you'll never know, then you understand why cases like Kelly's still matter. Missing persons cases are not something that only happened in the past. They are happening right now in towns like Harlan Falls and in cities you pass through without stopping. Someone has a yellow binder, someone is checking the window again. Paying attention is never nothing. Sometimes it is the whole thing. What do you think happened that night on Route 9? Tell us in the comments, we read every single one. If this story stayed with you, please subscribe to Missing Casebook. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. These families deserve to know people are still paying attention. We will see you in the next one.